Welcome to another video. In this video we're going to show you how you can set the motor height correctly inside the gearbox. We're going to use what is known as the half gearbox method, which is where we basically put the bevel gear in. Just give it a quick test, make sure you don't catch a note. We're then going to put the handle grip back on there, and then we'll put the motor in. So let's hold that there. Get the screw for the handle, which is a posi. Let's put that in. Oh, come on. Ah, that's been a pain straight away. Let's just put that down a sec. Let's get that in. There we go. And then look on the inside. See which one goes in. Looks like it's the back one, which is about there. Then screw it back on. That one's in. I'm going to, just to make sure it's nice and secure, get the other one. Put it on the other side. Like so. There you go, don't want it. That's tight enough, that's not going anywhere. So they're in place. Next step is get your motor and put your motor in. Like so. Make sure it comes through the hole. Then once that's popping through, get your motor plate bit. Make sure that sits on properly. And then we're going to put that on. We need a different size screw for that one. I believe it's probably going to be that one. Let's have a quick check. No, way too small. That one. Yeah, that's a good size. So put that in the kit. This is technically the first step to shimming your gearbox as well, because you want to make sure it all fits nicely. So push it in. Screws wanting to come off, so I'm just going to put that down a second. Get the screw lined up. And push that in with my thumb. Get the first one in, just a couple of screws, not too much. Because you don't want it too tight at this point when you put this back on. Then screw that one on. There we go. That's tight. Get that one tight. You want it as tight as it is going to be in the final product. So that's them two. Now, what we're looking for is the gear, which is so wrong. The head at the moment is actually pushing on the gears. It's not sitting nicely over the motor, so I just need to basically loosen that a bit and then try again. So let's get a flat head on the bottom here. On the bottom, right at the bottom, there is your motor height adjuster. So let's just loosen that off a bit. Like so. That means the motor's moved a bit. There we go. So if I tighten that up, so hold that in place, this bit, tighten that up and make sure that the motor sits nicely on the gear. Now that's too low for me. I think it wants to be about there. That motor is sitting just on the teeth Okay, looking at that, I'm not happy with that. So let's just set the gear right. The motor right, sorry. Just turn it up. I'm putting a bit of pressure on basically the bezel gear to make sure it doesn't move. See, I can feel that just grinding into it. That's a bit too loose. That's better. I'll put those screws in, but that wants a little, I think a tiny touch higher. So what we're wanting is that motor head to sit nicely on the teeth of the gear above. You're probably not going to be able to see, but you want it to be kind of in line. You don't want any space on the back. You want the gears to be lined up properly. So if I just look at it, get that screwdriver in first, look at it and give it a turn. Not too much. Just loosen off a little bit. I'm thinking possibly there. Let me look. No, a little bit, tiny bit more. I think that is the best I'm going to get it. So what we do next is we put the top casing back on, screw it all together, put the handle back on, and then we're going to see how much play there is in this one to see if it's tight against the case. So switch your screwdriver bit under these bits. Keep your thumb on there so it just doesn't explode out. There we go. Put them in here, keep them safe. Take your motor out. Keep it away from metal so it doesn't go everywhere. Swap your head, because we need to just undo the screws on the inside again. There's one. There's two. Okay, so now we've got this bit set, the motor right. What we need to do is get the other side of the gearbox, put it over onto it, make sure we don't get no wires trapped. Everything sits in place. Then screw in one here, one here, one here, and one there. That's one in. Next one. Next one. And the final one. Like so. So that clamps the gearbox down and back in place. Then what we want to do is put the handle back on. So thread the wires through. There's one. There's two. So they're in place. Slide it up into position. Now these little grooves on this, you have to make sure you get the grooves in place and then just slide it in. That's Doesn't feel like it's gone in properly. Or has it? Actually, I think it might have. Yeah, that looks like it's in place properly. So, screw in the 2 screws that hold the handle in place. Easier said than done with no light. I think that's going in. Yeah, that's one in. Get another one in. Right, so that's them 2 in place. Then we need to put the motor back in. So all the wires, the red one wants to go where the black one is, so I tend to put them both along this bit here, so along this ridge, so they're along this edge bit here. Then drop your motor back in, which should go that way. That's sitting in. Because we're not obviously going to put the motor in and test it, we can just tuck the wires in for time being. So just tuck one down there, tuck the other one there. Just want to pop out, so there the wires tucked in. Get the plate, put that on, and then push it down into place, make sure it lines up. That's lining up. Get the correct head on. Put the screws in, which I've put away over here. Thought I lost them for a second then. So let's get the screws in. Bit of pressure. First screw in a little bit, just hold it in place. There's a lot of pressure on these motors because obviously the spring at top wants to make it pop out. So just line that one up. Get that one screwed in. Just screw it until it feels tight enough. And that's that. And then what we want to do is, and this little hole here, we want to just make sure that first of all it's level. It's not getting squished anywhere. It doesn't look tilted, so it's not like more this way or more that way. And then just give it a little turn. It turns either way. That's nice. And then just make sure there's a little bit of play. I can push down a tiny bit and it wiggles. Not a lot, just a little bit. Push up, push down. That's looking good. So to me, the motor head and the first gear are now shimmed. They're in line. So the motor head's exactly where it needs to be, and the shim is exactly where it needs to be. And that is how you set the motor head height. It does take some time. You've just got to be patient and bear with it. Obviously, I got lucky with the shims. I didn't have to keep taking them off and putting them on. So yeah, it's just a case of trial and error, keep putting them in. Obviously, the reason you screw it all in place all the time is because you want everything to be how it will be on the final product. If you just held it in place, obviously you're not going to grip it as tight as you can screw it together, so there's going to be some play. So what you think is might be perfectly shimmed. When you put it back together, you'll find out, oh, there's a little bit more space than you thought there were, because you just held it in place. So that is the first one done. Thank you for watching.